Good morning, everybody. Wednesday, July the 1st. It's the Made in Paradise podcast. Today, we're talking about loyalty. And loyalty is something that's, on my mind nearly all the time because we're in a business, in the closeout business, where people do not respect loyalty in general. There is no loyalty. And so people are constantly trying to cut you out of a deal, even though you're the person that brought it to them, even though you're the person discovering the information and giving them the information, and it's coming from a network that may have cost you tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars to build, and you give them the information, say, would you like to buy this incredible deal, sir? And the first thing they think is, how do I cut you out so I don't have to pay you? Who's the vendor on this? And if you have a person that way, you can trust them with nothing. Rest assured, their wife and kids can't trust them either, because it's at a fundamental level of, we're not going to pay you. You don't deserve to get paid because you're just getting paid for information. Now, no one does this to a real estate broker. No one does this to a stock broker, right? With those other kinds of brokers, you're expecting their expertise to bring you some information that's going to benefit you. So we have a wine deal going on, and yesterday we offered that wine deal out for 50 cents. It bounced all around the world. I'm literally all around the world, and got up to $2.50. So it got sent back to us at $2.50, offering to sell us the wine that we have at 50 cents. And so someone said they wanted to buy it. We got on the phone with them yesterday. We went through all the stuff. These are the only terms under which this owner is going to let you buy this wine at 50 cents. And they didn't like the terms. And so when they hung up the phone around 4 o'clock, they decided what they were going to do is do everything they could to cut us out. So they started calling brokers all over the place, trying to find this wine. And guess where they end up? They end up right back at the same place with a company that we have a contract with. We have a contract with, right? We have a contract with this company. They don't go around us. We don't go around them with penalties. Just like any other broker should have with merchandise or whatever they're brokering, there should be a written agreement. We have that written agreement. This goes all the way around the world, and you can imagine how it pisses off the owner when they're trying to cut us out, and we're the agent that he's hired to go sell the product for him. He doesn't want to talk to the customer. He wants to talk to us. That's why he signed a contract with us. He's outlined all the terms with us, exactly what it has to be, yet these other folks are just they don't want to listen to what we have to say. They think they know better. And so there's zero loyalty, right? But it's not just loyalty like I have loyalty to YouTube for these years that we've been together and all the experiences. But there's also the loyalty of, I'm not going to look at a guy and just try to cut him out of the deal just because he's brought me the deal. It's like shooting the messenger, or it's like harming a person that's trying to help you. You look at the guy, you say, great information, fuck you. Kill him on his way out the door, would you? It's a character flaw that goes deep, deep, deep. And, to be honest with you about it, in this business, being in almost 43 years, and I've had innumerable people do it to me. And innumerable people do it to the people that are in this business who are actually honest, right? Of course, we all talk to one another. When someone does something, we all say, hey, this guy, and look what he did. And so it's very short-sighted to do it because it's really a small world in the closeout business. But they do it anyway. And it surprises me over and over and over and over. But when you say the word loyalty to me, that's what I always think about, is the people that they don't even have the most basic loyalty to say, hey, this guy's trying to do something for me here that's going to make me money. Let me reward him for that. And I always say, if a person is not happy to pay you, get away from them. Get away from them fast, because their greed is taking over their morality and ethics. So Anthony, you picked loyalty today. What do you want to talk about when it comes to loyalty?
Let me ask you first, what does loyalty mean to you?
Well, loyalty means that you're going to pick me in a situation, right, where let me back up. Let me explain it a little bit better. I always say you never know if a person is your friend until the shit hits the fan, right? So if one of you goes out and heinously murders someone, don't expect me to be loyal to you, because now you've done something that's beyond my ethics and moral. That's absolutely incorrect, wrong. I'm not going to support you in that. That isn't loyal. Being loyal is being good with your word, is it not? Being good with your word and action. I think that's a way to define it in that if I give you my word, it's good. That's loyalty. And I will consider you as much as I consider myself when there's a situation, right? When there's whatever situation and I have to pick between me and you, I'm going to pick us.
Right.
That's where loyalty comes into me. I don't know do you think I've defined it well?
I think you define it well. And in regard to this business, how can you distinguish a true loyalty from a false loyalty?
It just takes time, and you have to wait till there's a situation. You have to wait till something blows up. And last night when this wine blows up, right, and the guy who's contracted us to go sell it, I was just mentioning to him, I said, I explained to him this whole situation, the terms are not going to change, and them going and running all over the world just doesn't seem like a smart thing to do. And his response was, it's so fucking ignorant, right? That he thinks he's going to do this and not follow the terms and pay the money that we've outlined. So fucking ignorant, right?
So is it harder to offer loyalty or to maintain it?
Oh, it's completely harder to maintain it. Everyone who will fuck you will say to you, I'm the most honest person in the world. I would never do that. I would never harm another person. No. When anyone starts telling you how honest they are, be sure to know that they're not. You just have to go through step by step and watch for the little tiny clues, because once you see someone will lie, they'll lie about anything. Right? They'll lie about so once you know that they lie, you got to assume they're going to lie to you, their family, everyone else. Because if you have lying in your toolbox, you also have stealing in your toolbox, because lying and stealing are the same energy, right? So if you see that, you see that behavior, but of course you can't see it if you do it. But if you stop lying, you become a lie detector. If you lie all the time, you can't see lies. You can't understand them.
So is loyalty more important than truth?
Well, then we have to get on to a definition of what truth you're talking about, right? Because truth is a very subjective thing. I mean, think about that now. For each individual person, they think, I have the truth. That's one of the things that religions does, right? We have the truth and y'all don't. That us and them. So you're saying, is loyalty more important than the truth? Let's go back to my example. If one of you tomorrow gets caught with 1,000 kilos of methamphetamine, the truth is going to override my loyalty to you. Do you see that?
Right.
Because you're not being loyal to us by doing that. And we had a situation in Panama with a vendor, you all remember, who was violating OFAC regulations. Right? The moment he did that, even though I wasn't involved in it, he was disloyal because I'm in his circle. And if you violate OFAC regulations and they catch you, they will go back up the chain following the money to anyone it went to. So they just arbitrarily freeze everybody's accounts till they figure it out. So the truth, I would say, in that respect, is going to override loyalty, right? But to say which one is more important, I think, is an unfair comparison, because loyalty and truth don't necessarily have to do anything with one another. People who are criminals can be extremely loyal and yet peddling in total lies all the time.
Right. So does distance break loyalty?
No, because loyalty has a component of love in it. Real loyalty has a component of love in it. I care about that other person, right? And I care about the other person. I don't want them to hurt. And so
since you mentioned the word, since you mentioned love, can you love someone without being loyal?
No.
Oh, okay. It's
No.
a very
You cannot.
definitely
You
related.
cannot. You can. You can. They're mutually exclusive. If you don't love someone, you have no loyalty for them. Love is in loyalty, right? And even if it's in business, we're not talking about romantic love. We're talking about agape, unconditional love. There's a baseline of unconditional love in all loyalty, and so they can't be separated.
Right. So when should loyalty end, or should never end?
If you do something, like I said, that damages the group relationship, right? When you do something careless that doesn't think about the other person in the relationship, the loyalty is going to end.
Right.
It might not, because loyalty can be motivated by all kinds of things, fear, right? You better be loyal. Like, we're watching now this situation in Kuwaita with Pecho de Rata, and he owned all this prime property in Kuwaita and had all this stuff and his kids and all this, and they came and got him and they extradited his ass to the United States. And that's the first two people they ever extradited out of Costa Rica to the United States. And now they're going systematically through everyone who knew him, and they're taking their shit too, because you benefited off of this. I'm going to take your stuff too. So I'm curious, how much do you think his loyalty, people are being loyal to him around Kuwaita now that he's in the United States in jail? Because he's in the United States, any communication, he's threatening people, right? You better do this. Any way he could, he would threaten. But that loyalty is still going to fall apart because you're in a cage in the United States.
Right. Like there's a saying in Spanish, which, let me try to say it in English, would be something like, loyalty ends when the favors run out, right? And
okay, but that really wasn't loyalty that we're talking about, right? This is not the kind of loyalty that we have between the three of us. That's
right.
not
No,
that
definitely
loyalty.
No, definitely no. I mean, because we have this saying, because like I said, it's like we compare it with an umbrella. Like when it's raining, it's so useful an umbrella, right? But immediately it stopped raining, it's became
a weight.
This umbrella, right? Right.
Uh-huh.
So my last question, John, when should loyalty, let's say, well, in this case, do you think loyalty could become a blind thing? Like, loyalty ever be blind? Like, I'm definitely blind in this situation because my loyalty.
Well, I think, again, it goes back to, there's a type of loyalty that I think about, the way Brooks was loyal to me, or George Kelly was loyal to me when he worked for me, right? And he watched my back in a company of 300 people. There's a whole different type of loyalty there than what we're talking about that a narco has, right? That he enforces with fear. Those are so different as to not be considered the same thing. So we look at loyalty and we say, oh, that's a very loyal situation. But I mean, is the Jeffrey Epstein situation showing us the loyalty between all these people? No. That's not loyalty what it is. They're just protecting one another because they're all guilty.
Right. Right.
And so I would not, it looks like loyalty from the outside, but I wouldn't define that as loyalty. That's just camaraderie over evil.
Yeah, that's all.
All right, Darin Fingleton, what do you want to tell our beautiful, wonderful audience about loyalty?
Well, do you think you can be loyal and be vulnerable
at
the same time?
Every time you're loyal, you are automatically vulnerable. Because if you're really loyal, you've put yourself in a vulnerable position.
And so do you think people, they have to see that weakness to build that trust?
I don't think people realize it, right? I think people think about the good part of something and they put blinders on about the rest of it. Right. They say, this is the good part and I'm loyal to this part, but they ignore the negative things and parts on the side that would show them that what they've got is false.
Right. So do you think there's a difference between loyalty and obligation?
Oh, sure. I mean, you can't obligate someone to loyalty. That's what we're talking about with narcos, right? They're trying to obligate you to loyalty with fear, and it's not loyalty at all, right? It's just not. It's not even the same thing.
Right. They feel like they have to do it.
Right. Real loyalty is voluntary.
Right. Have you ever had to fire someone that was loyal because they weren't performing well?
You know, I when you said that, I remembered nothing. Do one of you remember me firing someone who was loyal because they didn't perform well? Because in my mind, if someone is showing at least the least little bit of loyalty, I'll just find something else to do with them. I won't fire them for underperforming.
Right.
Because loyalty is such an incredibly
hard thing to come by.
Well, it's a hard thing to come by, but it's also indicative of a person with better character.
Right.
You don't betray someone for no reason, right? Just because on a whim or because your emotions have changed or whatever else. So real loyalty is really rare. And I respect it. And I can't ever remember that I would fire a loyal person. I may have had to let loyal people go because of, I think about back in Panama, and people were let go that were very loyal because the whole system was downsizing. But to fire someone, no, I really, really revere and honor loyalty.
Well, what loyalty do you regret giving to somebody?
Oh,
looking back,
we don't have enough time for that. Because I treat people the way I want to be treated, and that's not going to get you to treat people the way you treat them. It won't. And because everybody says, the golden rule, do unto others, you have them do unto you. And I've even said the platinum rule. The platinum rule is do unto others better than you would have them do unto you. And that's really what I've lived by. I do unto other people better than I think that they're even capable of doing for me. But that kind of loyalty, it has to be cherished. Someone has to recognize what they're getting, right? They have to be a receiver of loyalty. You can't just be loyal to a person. They have to understand this person is being loyal to me and this is very valuable.
Right. So do you think that someone could be loyal to a business or to a deal, or do you think it's only with people?
No, I think people can be loyal to a country, a business, anything in the world. But I go back to what Jesus said: "No greater love there's any man than this, that he laid down his life for a friend." Well, wouldn't you consider that the ultimate in loyalty?
Yeah. And
Jesus is saying that's love, right? So loyalty and love merge into one another at some point. Loyalty and unconditional love they come together in truth.
Right. Well, I think there's also, when it comes to like a business, you're not going to be loyal to a business if the people in it are horrible. So
right. Well, but we're often loyal to our country, even though we don't agree with the politicians.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And so we're loyal to the idea of democracy, the idea of freedom. I think a lot of people are loyal to that, right? I really do. I don't think that I don't think that the world is as evil as it's portrayed to be. I think people have goodness in them because everyone, I believe, has Christ in them. So I think loyalty can come natural along with love. And I think people can have loyalty to a church body, for example, even though the pastor's a piece of shit. I think you can have loyalty to your country, even though your leaders are deplorable. You can have loyalty to the ideas behind, like the United States. We can have loyalty to that. Man, wouldn't it be great if we had leaders that were loyal to our country, really loyal to our country, and not loyal to just their self-interest? Again, then we're screwing with the definition of loyalty. I'm loyal to my country. I'm loyal to my wife. I'm loyal to my kids. I'm loyal to my business. I'm loyal to the ideas behind the United States because I believe in democracy. All of that's, did you see how the definition gets fuzzy and it changes?
Yep. I think it's another term that, we were talking about just yesterday, just how everything, you got love, you have everything. We have definitions different for everything, for sin, so ask somebody what does loyal mean to you, it's going to be something different than what
everyone has a different definition of everything is the truth.
Right.
Every one of us, because my definition of loyalty gets filtered through all of my betrayal experiences. Right. And neither one of you have had those betrayal experiences. So your loyalty filter does not go through that. Your loyalty filter only goes through the betrayal experiences that you've had and seen. So our definition, just by our experience, is going to be different.
Right.
And I think that's why we have to discuss things like love and loyalty, so that we understand what it really is, the meaning of it is between us, not our individual meaning, but the meaning between us.
Right, because then I could have an idea that I said this is definitely to be loyal, and you say no way, it's not even close. But that's my idea, right? That's my feeling. I'm being loyal to you.
Okay, well, so take a family member, for example, and they have a drug addiction, and you need to intervene in that person's life. Well, isn't that loyalty?
Yeah.
But
even if they don't realize it.
But the other person won't see it.
Right.
And so you can see there the blurred line between loyalty and love.
Yeah.
Because you see people be loyal. You see people be loyal to people who don't deserve it at all. And they do it supposedly just because of that person's position, or he's my father, so I'm loyal to him. Yeah, but your father's a criminal. Yeah, I know, but I'm still loyal because he's my dad. Boy, man, and so you throw that word out there, you're going to get some very different definitions, aren't you?
Yeah. Last question.
Oh, no.
Carry on, Anthony.
No. Please go ahead.
All right. It's like two nice guys trying to open up the door for each other.
Nice guy fight. Okay.
All right, last question. What's the most loyal thing someone has ever done for you?
For me, or for Anthony, for me? Nothing came to mind immediately, Darin, when you asked me that. But I've been in a lot of situations where I was getting screwed, and the person doing the screwing, their friends were all loyal to him, right? And yet there was someone who stood up and said, no, this shit ain't right. This just isn't right. And I can think about several times in business when that happened. And that's some of the greatest loyalty that I can ever remember, right? But, I've been through a lot of ups and downs with you two. So I would say that you two are some of the greatest examples of loyalty in my life. Anthony, you had another question you want to finish? You got a comment to finish us off?
Yes. In regard to the business, so and you have a family member in the business, how can you literally use the family member in the business and still be loyal, right? How can you relate that?
You mean how do you balance the loyalty of this family members in the business and I need to be loyal, but they're not performing well and they need to get out, that kind of thing?
Right. We're just
this comes down to what I say about employees. If you have an employee and you think about that employee and you think, if I had a chance, I wouldn't hire them again today, you should fire them right immediately. Right? And that applies to a family member too. If you're in a business, the object of that business is to make money, is it not? And so if that person is not best in whatever position that they're in, you're hindering the business, you and them. Because they need to go someplace where they can flourish at whatever they're best at. And if you're thinking I'm being loyal by leaving them in this job where they're incompetent, that's not loyalty. That's, I don't know, codependency. It's you're allowing their bad behavior. That's not loyalty at all. Loyalty is not going to allow bad behavior.
Right, because I asked that because in Costa Rica, many times me and John is very good friends, and John is loyal to me and I'm loyal to John. So I have a kid, Matthias, grew up, and because our loyalty, John gave Matthias a job, and he keep Matias at the job just because me.
Just
right?
because of you. That goes on all the time. We call it nepotism is the word for that, right? But
okay.
we see that a lot with American politicians right now, right? But again, yes, that's loyalty. That's loyalty, but it's not the kind of loyalty that anybody really wants, right? Because you want it, those people, they're loyal. Yeah, okay. I got Matias and I'm being loyal to you, but it's really not good for me in the end. It's not good for you in the end. It's not good for Matias in the end. So the karma you're going to create from this false loyalty, right? This loyalty to a negativity really is what it is. You get loyalty to negativity. That's gonna end badly. It always does. Like a house built on the sand, right? Go ahead.
My last question in regard to the business. What would be your advice for all these people that have been in this business and they haven't go through the same issue that you've been years and years and years? What would be your first piece of advice to say, consider this before?
You know, that could be a series of podcasts unto itself, but think about the other person. Just think about what you're doing and how it affects other people and how it'll be received. And say to yourself, is this really the outcome that I want? Because I see a lot of people charge forward. They get mad and they charge forward and it just erases loyalty, supposedly, right? Their anger erases the loyalty. They never had it to begin with. But I would say, think about others, right? Think about others. Think about others. That's the advice I give to everybody. Think about the other person. Think about the other person. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Made in Paradise podcast. We do this every week, Monday through Friday. We email it out to our loyal customers, which are fewer by the day, because we just cut a bunch of people off of our email list for not being loyal and blasting deals that they didn't have the right or the permission to blast, right? So if you're interested in what we talked about today and these kind of life subjects, please like and subscribe. This podcast is sponsored by a company called Proven Performer that happens to be the three guys you see on the screen. Darin's going to put up some contact information down here below. It's got our email addresses and our WhatsApp numbers because we love WhatsApp. And every day we talk about a new deal. And today we're going to be talking about an Amazon canceled data center project. This is $2.16 million in brand new shrink-wrapped goods that were all shipped to Chicago for a data center, and then it got canceled. And so you've got all the components from the outside to the inside to the switch boxes, all the way down. Everything to get this data center going was all scrapped. It's brand new, sitting in a warehouse, all wrapped, perfect, absolute perfect condition, and being sold at a fraction of the original price. Now here we have some more information that shows you everything involved in this, and the owner would like to sell it as a one-shot deal to someone who wanted to open a data center, but he's also open to dividing the inventory under the correct conditions. So if you're interested in data center electrical from top name brands like ABB, Square D, Siemens, Eaton, and others, please reach out to us, because this is not the only deal that we've got. We've got a lot of EV charging equipment. We have a lot of data center equipment, and all of it is 50 to 75% off, and you don't have to wait. We have it in stock right now. Reach out to us at the numbers below. We'll be happy to send you all of this information. You can inspect. We are just agents. We act as representatives under contract. You pay the owner of this merchandise. Anytime you see merchandise that we're selling, you don't pay us. You pay the owner pays us. We make a commission. And so if you're interested at all, we have crazy good pricing on over 2,000 EV chargers right now in stock, in addition to this data center project. Please reach out to us, the numbers below. We'll put you on a list when we get new projects that we buy. We'll reach out to you and say, hey, we got new stuff. And if you're looking for stuff, please reach out to us too and tell us, hey, I'm looking for this. We might have it. We might know where it is. It's amazing the kind of stuff that we come across. So talk to us. We'd love to talk to you. We're the Proven Performer crew. This has been the Made in Paradise podcast, and we're going to see you tomorrow. Have a fantastic day.